Hi guys, I'm Kae Gabrielle. Thank you. Yes, I wanted to speak about artist empowerment. And when I think about the definition of empowerment, my first thought was confidence. Empowering artists means building their confidence and giving them attention and giving them recognition. But that's not all that artist empowerment is about. That's not the only definition of empowerment. When you think about empowerment, I think the best way to move forward in the crypto space is NFTs give artists an avenue to have full self-control over their own means of creation, what they're creating, how they're displaying it, how they're exhibiting it and showcasing, how they are connecting with communities and building those communities, how they are selling and pricing and putting value on their artwork. And it's not just monetary value. With NFTs, you are able to add layers of value to your artwork. So you can do that by implementing utilities, by building communities, by offering roadmaps or rewards or gifts to your collectors, and adding value to yourself as an artist, not just through money, but through all of those things that I just mentioned. So when we consider that, I think the opportunities are growing and they're endless, and we can sort of navigate them as we navigate through this space. And by doing that, we can even discover more opportunities for growth and for empowerment, not just in confidence, but in authority and self-control over our own art.
That's wonderful. You know, from the other side, it's no accident that there has been an exodus of artists into the NFT space. It is the very same things that you just spoke about, right? All of these degrees of separation between an artist and a collector or an art lover suddenly disappear. An artist is suddenly in control of their art, of the economics around their art, which has practically remained unchanged for centuries. For the first time ever, royalties are a reality in art, and which is mind-blowing. So apart from just the economic aspects of it, I think it's the sheer connection that an artist can have with the collector that's powerful. And from the collector's perspective, I'm with Metaverse, and we fell in love with artists, and that's how our journey began. And that was possible because, I mean, think about it. All of us regular people are exposed to art on a daily basis, but it's subconscious, right? I mean, it's all around us. But when you try and reach out to it, it's like real art is locked up in some ivory tower and is accessible only to people with means, right? The NFT space completely upends that. You know, the connection that I was missing for, over 3 decades of my life, suddenly, in a period of 8 months, I was able to form these profound, really deep relationships with over 100 artists, 150 artists. And what that does is it changes your sense of self-worth. Like, it makes you feel that you're finally worthy enough to engage with art. And that is very powerful, which is why, crypto needs art more than art needs crypto. And I think everybody that's in the space sort of realizes it, but I think it's about time we acknowledged it as well. All of the technology that we're looking at has existed for a while now. What's different and what's made this explosion possible is art. It's not the tech. Would you agree?
Yes, I do. I think that that there is an immediate emotional connection that you establish with an art object, or not, right? And I think that that's what we're seeing being monetized, in one way. But then also there is a deeper emotional connection that's being established between the collector and the artist. And I think that is a new sort of dynamic between those two parties. I think if we look at the traditional art world, it's a very different game. Their priorities are a bit different. They are, courting widowers and divorcees, and I think in the back of their mind, that they understand the value of art increases after an artist's demise, right? But I think that this really changes that dynamic to something so much more positive, and something so much more mutually beneficial. And I think holding onto an artist's piece is also a way of saying, I hope that you keep creating, and I support whatever it is that you want to do. So that's something that I also love about the space too, for sure.
Absolutely. And, not to mention, the tech is what made a lot of these things possible, right? I mean, what we're talking about, whether it's royalties or, being able to decentralize the distribution of art, the tech made it possible. And Xi, would you like to talk about the tech aspect of the blockchain? What appeals to you the most? I mean, you got into the space sometime in April this year, which is like a really interesting time to get into the NFT space. So what was it that you found most striking about this space?
I'm still nervous. It's still my first time on the stage, by the way.
You look really cool, though. You
Thank
don't look
you.
nervous at all.
You look very comfy up here.
Please applause a little bit. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage for me to actually sit here. I'm a bit social awkward. Like I'm a nerd, computer person. Thank you. Actually, I really appreciate that you remember that I got into NFT in April. So I read about Satoshi's blockchain white paper many years ago. I was fascinated by the beauty of the algorithm. It's beautiful, but I wasn't into cryptocurrency because there was no good use cases, right? Until this year when I see NFT, this non-fungible token, this non-fungible exactly just map into the real world, and I found a good use case, and if it's actually widely used, and I believe in crypto. But one thing I want to say is NFT is not cryptocurrency. Like a lot of people just like saying like CryptoPunks, like all those Bored Apes, when they talk about it, they like to talk about Ethereum. I really don't like that hype, Sure, money is a number, like it's just some number we put onto it. But NFT is a technology. It's built on top of blockchain. That's why it makes it so wonderful. It's a secure, reliable technology, and it's decentralized. It solved a lot of problems, like the authority, you say, the ownership, the transfer. In real life, the physical arts, it's hard to actually transfer, and most of the time, the money doesn't. I think what's actually the ownership part, like whatever you're getting from the art, should actually go back to the artist, right? Yay!
True. I mean, it's fascinating that you said, NFTs are a technology built on top of the blockchain. That makes NFTs so malleable and flexible and open to so many interpretations and so many utilities, right? I mean, look at the four of us on stage here. We have an artist among us, a pure technologist, a filmmaker, and a random dude, right? All four of us. And the only thing that connects all of us is NFTs. I mean, I've known of the crypto space since 2013 when Metacoven first introduced Bitcoin to me, but it completely flew over my head. It took me 5 years to really get into the space, but I found my groove only in the NFT space. And I think that's true of a lot of people. We've heard about Bitcoin, we've heard about Ethereum, of cryptocurrencies, but unless you're a coder or unless you're an expert in playing with financial instruments, crypto didn't have a space for you. But now creators, technologists who want to push the boundaries of things, financiers, writers, of all kinds, have found a space here. And what I find most fascinating, and this is a question to the artist and the filmmaker, is artists are seen as these abstract, people who don't really connect very well with technology or with the physical space. But for some reason, when it links to their art, they're instantly savvy. I mean, way more than the average person, right? Same with them. Now, Dan was talking about financial models around filmmaking, which I found fascinating, right? How you can fractionalize a film, which shows that, the deeper you understand your own domain, NFTs are like those building blocks, like those Lego bricks, which fall neatly into those slots and create whatever it is you want to.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I think for a collaborative endeavor like film, for example, that requires several bodies and requires resources to even begin, significant resources. For me, what I've come to discover and also appreciate about the space is the fundraising potential in the crypto sphere. And lately, like that we can get much more detailed probably outside of this, and anybody should feel free to message me about it. But I've really been sort of taking the time over the past few months to study the different sort of fundraising modalities for larger collaborative projects. And something that I'm currently doing is I am developing a film about the space. And I'm working with this company right now called Block, which is a fantastic company run by Kai Turner.
Great name.
Yes, yeah, it's a really good name. And what we're doing is we're sort of in the process of realizing, I guess the simplest way of putting it is sort of Kickstarter 2.0, finding a way of sort of seamlessly offering what will be, in this case, a security to anybody who wants to come in and invest in a collaborative art project, and then be part of that revenue stream and the net profits in perpetuity. So that would enable anything from like a film being built to, if you want to stage an opera in the Saharan desert, like there are ways of actually building the fundraising structure around that, but then also enabling a community to come to the project and feel some real ownership over that piece with the creators. So that you're also building a community around the piece of people that want to share it with everybody that they know. So again, it becomes a mutually beneficial sort of symbiotic relationship that benefits everyone involved.
I love it. Like recently, I think since COVID, I started to binge watching a lot of films and TV shows. Amazing. I'm a sci-fi fan. Have you watched Dune lately? Great movie. And I started to actually like, wow, like with this NFT, like a lot of people get together. I just believe in this creativity economy we're gonna build, and I cannot wait for more movies to come out. Like, okay, I am really a nerd. The Ready Player One, has anyone actually watched it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
So like, I just want it to come true.
We're headed there.
We're headed there.
Yeah, when I actually saw NFT the first time, I was like, oh shit, this is Ready Player One. Like, my dream is gonna come true.
It's getting there.
And later, I cyberpunk all the games. I'm also a gamer girl. Yeah.
Great.
I think that kind of gives me this. I feel the same way. When I was 10 years old, I went on my computer, my mom's like old computer, and I opened up MS Paint and I used my mouse to make my first piece of digital art. And I thought it was so cool and I was so proud of myself. And I had been drawing with pencil for years, but this was something else. And it was like, I found it to be the coolest thing ever. And I realized that I had this passion for art and I wanted to explore that. So as I did, I found ways to, we didn't have much money, so I found ways to get art classes and study art like on my own. And I had a family friend that was an artist and I studied under him. But I do remember a lot of the traditional art like teachers that I had would look at the digital art and they'd look at my pencil drawings and they'd say, stick with the pencil drawings. Like, there's no future in this. There's this anime stuff, this digital stuff. This isn't going to give you an art career. This is just cute. It's funny, it's cute. It's not going to really get you anywhere, though. So make sure that you study your traditional art. Make sure you study your art history. I went to an art high school and I majored in art, and the teachers all told me the same thing. So for years and years, I was hearing that, stick to the traditions, stick to the traditions. They've been around for this long for a reason. And in my head, I just couldn't listen to them. So I never stopped making digital art, and that MS Paint and a mouse turned into a bootleg version of Photoshop and a tablet, and which turned into a legit version of Photoshop and a better tablet, which turned into an iPad and an Apple Pencil. And throughout the years, all the tech advanced and all the programs advanced. So I was able to advance my own digital art skills as well. And I've always believed in it. I've never once said digital art isn't real art, but there was the dilemma of how can I sell it? For many years, the one truth that my art teachers had been right about was you can't sell this. You can make a print of it and you can sell a physical, but nobody's going to, you can't sell a digital piece of art for the same amount of money that you could sell a canvas painting for. And that was the truth for a while until NFTs and art came together and all of that changed. Yeah.
Did.
So
I'm so proud of you, Kae.
thank you.
You know,
So, we are going into the future, and this is just now. Like, this is where we're at now. But, this has given me a platform to not just make a digital painting and sell it, but to make an animation and compose music and perform the music on the animation and tell a story and then sell it. And that is something that I wouldn't have been able to do without this kind of platform in this age that we're living in now, in this present. So it's very inspiring, and it gives me a lot of hope, because something that 18 years ago, when I was 10 years old and I told them I believe in it and they told me don't waste your time, I stuck with it, and now here we are. So in another 18 years, I can't wait to see where we'll be.
That's a very, very powerful story, and I think it's like the perfect metaphor for the NFT space as well. And just for a little bit of context, right? I think of my father every time I enjoy something in the NFT space. He is a spontaneous poet, always has been all his life, and a songwriter. But he was working a job which he was very good at, but which obviously was not his calling for like 27 years. I, meander through various career paths, advertising, supply chain finance, financial technology, journalism, and all of that stuff for 13 years before I found my groove in the NFT space, right? So the people I work with did that for 3 years, and now people who are born into the digital generation don't have to wander, don't have to, search too hard. If you were born, just a few, 10 years ago, you would have jumped right into the NFT space. We have, 12-year-old, 14-year-old artists who are making generative art. You would have been right at home there, and I'm super excited about it. And the other aspect, like which you were talking about, that NFTs really empower because of their Lego block kind of a thing, is this idea of collaboration, right? How else can you get a whole bunch of people from all parts of the world without 6-month-long contract negotiations to work on something all of them are passionate about? And that can happen only with the NFT space. Dreamverse is like the perfect example of one of those. We had a Zoom call, just for the heck of it, for all of the stakeholders involved. It was like 100 people from all over the world. I was blown away. And the fact that all of the artists who are part of Dreamverse, that's 161 artists in the space, they said yes. Just blows my mind.
Well, that's also something. We talk a lot about sort of finding our tribe in this space too, and I think that's also one of the benefits, is that like you don't necessarily have to take money from anybody as an investor, but you can find those alignments with very specific people who are bringing something good to the project, and are bringing the actual support to it. Exactly. And for me, I had a similar but very different experience to you. I was working in film for a decade and raising money independently, and that's how I was making my films. And then about 2 years ago, I sold a series that I had written and was directing to a streamer. And those contracts get very, very complicated, like right away. And you sell your ownership over it. And I went into production for that series, and I was working on it for, again, it ended up being like about a year and a half. And the relationship between the production company and my team just became very, very toxic and pretty exploitative, to be honest. It's nonfiction, and the way that they were also treating my subjects, it was just, everything about it was wrong. And ultimately, they kicked me off the project. It was kind of like a mutual split, But it was heartbreaking for me because the way the contract is structured, again, all of that footage, all of my writing, my scripts, my outline, everything goes to that project. And that was an incredibly disempowering experience for me. And at the same time, that's when I found this space and sort of coming into it and being like, oh, wow, I don't have to sell all of my ideas to a studio. I don't have to work with the people in the offices in LA. We can actually build systems where we find the people who are very much aligned with what we're trying to do and build something together in that way that is resourceful, but is also aligned ethically and the ethos of the project is kept in check.
Perfect.
Sorry, Dan. I think we are short in time. I want to. I come here to represent myself. Like I want to actually get the point that I want to tell everyone. I know a lot of people here are speculators. So I want to actually tell you how I see the evolution of the web application and why NFT is so important and why NFT can be like it's not only just we like it. It's so hard to actually talk about NFT without talking about metaverse. Metaverse completely, like without, I would say NFT enables metaverse and metaverse improves NFT. The web application, when I see it is, in 1989, we had the first generation of web application, the static ones, the pure text from Yahoo. Those yellow pages, you just read it. In 2005, Facebook, Google, and other players start to get into this space with like interactive applications. So we start to write messages to each other. So later on, I think after 2010 or 14 probably, we started to push those mobile applications. And then with that, it's just a natural move from the desktop browser-based application to the mobile application. So later, what's more interesting, Netflix, HBO, all those subscription-based streaming platform, and influencer is a job right now. Yeah, yesterday I met Daniel Godhit. Anthony, am I right? Yeah, okay. Unbelievable. Like, I met it's really the people I met here are the coolest. It makes me feel I'm cool. Anyway, so this movement, why am I bringing this up? The changes I'm seeing is first the platform change, right? The platform from Facebook, Yahoo, Facebook, and then Netflix, and then VR, AR, and then the equipment as well. First, we have desktop. I don't want to sit anymore. It's so tiring. I want to see you all guys, actually. Yeah. So we have desktop, and then we move to mobile. We have Oculus. It's coming. It's you cannot deny it. Don't resist the technology. Embrace it. There are always good and bad things. Look at the big picture. Don't actually focus on the little details. And also, what also changes is the IoT and 5G. Many my engineer friends and I all believe that the humanity actually, through years, what we are trying to do is to make our communications faster and easier. Right? You think about it, SMS, AT&T, and then Facebook, blah, blah, blah. So I see two trends here. First, people are starting to actually realize the digital content value, right? We are spending more money on the internet right now, way more. I'm even willing to pay YouTube membership. I'm very stingy, by the way. Because I'm low-born, I was poor, okay? But I'm paying $15 to not just look at those advertisements. Because internet is not free, okay? Internet is not free. There are machines running for it. There are people who are writing programs to it. Why does it actually have to be free? Anyway, so also COVID kind of pushed us to have the need to be connected virtually.
Great.
Yeah. So, sorry, we're out of time.
No. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Okay.
But Xi, thank you so much. You had a lot of great things to say, and including don't resist technology, really important. So thank you all for your discussion today.